Yeah, stockroom management kind of grew in the importance with the Corona thing. But I see a little bit of a risk here with the thinking like when this will happen again. So I'm worried about people will now try to keep the stock overinflated a little bit,
Yeah.
just to be prepared for whatever. And again, it's a balance. You have put on the weights the cost of the assets you're procuring, and then they're just sitting in your stock awaiting for whatever, against whether you can actually deploy them and take the ROI out of them. Sorry. So yeah, it's not an easy decision, but stock rooms grew in the importance, especially with the home workers that are requesting secondary PCs for projects, for client engagements. They need that secondary PC because they will be interacting with the client's environment. That has to be a different image there, whatever. And suddenly you don't have that stock. And we've got cases where countries were ordering assets and the vendors could not fulfill, and suddenly your stock is empty. You cannot backfill the stock, and therefore the business is impacted. So stockroom gets more important. The stockroom management, yeah.
That's a really interesting point, though, about over inflating and being over cautious that a lockdown might happen again. Because you're right, budgets are already for hardware a bit screwed up because a lot of people are saying, okay, well, I need to work from home, therefore you need to send me or order me a monitor. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to need a chair, like a proper monitor chair. I'm only using my kitchen chair at the moment, and if you want me to work from home, it's not good enough. And then I've even had some clients say to me, David, some of our end users are asking us, as in the company, to pay for like increased broadband and internet speeds because
Mm-hmm.
previously they didn't need that. Do you think then that perhaps because of the spending on the home setup, do you think then that organizations are actually going to be worried and overinflate on stock just because they don't really know what the requirements are for home working yet, and they don't really know when you're going to be back in the office and if this happens again? And if, is that what you're seeing? Are people actually overinflating stock already, or is that something you're worried is going to happen?
I think I'm more worried rather than seeing this happening. But you're right. The overinflation is a huge risk, and not only well, I haven't thought about this from this angle, but now um, not only PCs but peripherals. You can easily overinflate there as well. In my previous company, and actually I was switching jobs during the COVID, so I had a taste on two different sides of companies attacking the problem. But what I wanted to talk about is the printers, for example. When whole offices were sent back home to work from there, suddenly the printers became a really important stuff. And the business support team say, yeah, okay, we ordered the printers, but nobody talked to the security suddenly. Nobody talked to us, asset managers, how we would track them, how the security will secure them. If you have a printer at home, you can print whatever document you have. So there is a whole another layer of problems that come with the working from home environment. And that's probably why I see a little bit of a value, or maybe even more than a little bit, of this remote desktop environment. You just get a thin client at your
Yeah.
home that doesn't have anything on it, right? And you just interact with the corporate environment through VDIs, desktop remotes, whatever, right? But it's
So
there, it's not at your home.
printers is awesome, awesome point. So I think another bit on that is, okay, if you rewind back to we started going into lockdown in March. I think last year was when people were working from home and not going into the
Mm-hmm.
office. Some of my enterprise clients and some of the people that have messaged me on LinkedIn had printers as a service. They
Mm-hmm.
didn't actually own the printers. They were the huge company ones. They may have had like two or three dotted around each floor within their organization. Then they were coming to me saying, look, we've got a 3, 5, 10, whatever year deal on these printers as a service, managed print service, but no one can use it because they're not in the office. People are now requesting printers at home and scanners at home. They're like, what do we do? We've got does coronavirus count in the contract as force majeure? As like, what do we do? We don't want to spend loads of money on printers here and keep the print service going.
Yeah.
It, that for me, I'd never kind of encountered that kind of thing before. It was like I was worrying about desktops, laptops, just getting people up
Mm-hmm.
and running, and then it was
Yeah.
like we're spending a lot of money on this managed print service, but no one's going to be in the office, and we need to buy little printers for people at home.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? It's like-
Same thing on our side. Well, my side here. The moment we realize that the spend will increase on the general ham, and it's not for the PCs, because majority of focus goes to your PCs because that's the data bearing asset, that's the business critical asset, stuff like that. But there are a lot of other things, as you perfectly mentioned before, and I don't know. I don't know. You've got contracts signed for those single point of printing, or however you called it. And we had cases where our network engineers set up the networks the way that you are at home, but you are showing up as in office, and people were still used to print at office, so they will send the document to print. And there were sitting tons of documents on those printers, at office, and So yeah, but the spend will grow. I don't know if that's a nudge for future. For example, to circle back a little to your question about preparing or overinflating for future, is it a nudge to think more about a proper organization of the home work environment and limiting the office space to like business critical, client facing, but I don't know, IT. I probably would guarantee that majority of IT can work from home with no impact. And they would probably even prefer to work from home rather than going to the office.